Hi and good morning and welcome to my channel. If you do not know me, my name is Heatherina and I talk about true crime stories. Ooh, yeah, that's me. I'm weird and you will get to know that really soon. I do the air guns and I say some really weird things. If you are new to my channel, great. I am so happy you are here. Click the subscribe button, hit the bell button, and stay a while. You might enjoy my channel. If you are a returning subscriber, yay, I am so happy you are still with me and you are still supporting me, and I love you all so much. Before we start today's true crime story, let me start with a disclaimer for this video. This video is for entertainment and educational purposes only. I talk about graphic things, strong language that is intended for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. Alrighty, let's get on to the story. So today we are going to talk about Derrick Roby. I don't know if anybody has heard this story, but it's very sad, to say the least. So this is another story in my collection of killer kids and the fact that kids can be evil little shits. They can. So let's talk about Derrick Roby. Derrick Roby was born on October 2nd, 1988. When this all took place, he was 4 years old, guys. He was just a tiny little dude. Super cute. He was murdered by Eric Smith, who was born January 22nd, 1980. See, I talk weird. He was 13 years old. So let me kind of tell you the backstory about Mr. Eric here. So Eric was red hair, freckle face, glasses. He got teased and bullied tremendously, not only by kids at school, but he was also teased by his father and by his sibling. He got teased because his ears were lower. His ears were kind of funny, they said. He, of course, you know, the whole redheaded freckle face stepchild theory. He was very much teased about that. I'm a redhead, freckles, the whole bit. So I do understand that. I did have glasses as well. So I understand being teased. He was teased tremendously. He spent a lot of time with his grandparents. He was known to have a very explosive temper. Now, he would have this explosive temper, and his dad would tell him, like, when I was a kid and I got mad, I would just punch things. And it helped, which wasn't probably the best advice for a parent. But this little guy was struggling really bad with being teased and taken, you know, just advantage of when it came to bullies and people just not being nice. This is why I tell you guys to put more good in the world than you take out. You got to be nice to people because it affects them greatly. But nonetheless, Eric still had a very explosive temper, and a lot of times when he would get mad, he would punch trees. His dad would say that he had, you know, come home with bloody knuckles and stuff, or scratched up knuckles, because he would very much punch trees, punch things, because that's what his dad taught him was, you know, if you're mad, you just need to punch things. So then we're going to talk about little Derrick Roby and his mom, Doreen Roby. So on this day, August 2nd, when this whole event had happened, I had to remember, guys, there's so many little dates that you always got to remember when you tell these stories. So, mom was running late. She had an 18-month-old as well, and Derrick used to go to this, like, summer camp during the summer, and it was literally, like, right up the road, guys. So it was at the end of the road, on a dead-end road. It was, you know, in a safe neighborhood. Not very far away. It was about a block away from the house, and mom would get up in the morning and she would walk him to the summer camp and then go back to retrieve him around 11 o'clock. On this particular day, she was running late because her 18-month-old was, you know, being really fussy and really giving her a lot of hell. So she, you know, she was struggling to get him under control. And so, little Derrick was like, hey, you know, I can just walk up the street, you know, and this is back in a different time. You know, this is back, you know, when I grew up, and there wasn't a lot of crime and there wasn't a lot of things that just kind of went on where people were snatching kids and stuff. This was at a dead end road. he wouldn't have to cross any streets or anything. I mean, this was a pretty safe situation. So mom was like, okay, you go ahead and you go to camp, you know, and I will come and get you, you know, at 11. So he goes out the door and he heads to camp. Now at 11 o'clock, mom goes back to pick him up and nobody had seen him. All the kids, you know, at the school that were playing outside or whatever, everybody was gone for the day. And they said, you know, no, we haven't seen him. He, you know, he didn't show up today. And so, of course, she freaks out, as any mom would. They start searching as much as they could around where the summer camp was. When they couldn't find him, they called police right away. And police came and they began to search for little Derrick. And it was about 4 hours later, they found him dead in a field. When they found him with his pants and his underwear down. They found his lunchbox with the contents spewed out of it. They found that some of the items were smashed and there was like red Kool-Aid poured on, say, the banana that was smashed on the wounds of Derrick. And so, you know, they were trying to find out what happened to him. This was a safe neighborhood. Everybody's freaking out that there's some boogeyman that like snatched him and pulled him into the car and did this and threw him out or drug him over to the field. You know, everybody's freaking out. And Eric Smith was like, he came forward and he was like to the police and he was like, hey, I seen him that day. I know what went on. So they were listening to him. They were just like, you know, I seen him over in the field, you know, I was riding my bike. And so the police officers were like, okay, let's bring you out here to the scene and you get on your bike and you show us like where you were and where he was. And so they went out there and they were like noticing like where Eric was saying that he was on his bike and where he was saying he seen Derrick, he wouldn't have been able to see him. But he could tell them exactly what the little boy was wearing, what Derrick was wearing, you know, and they felt like that was just really, you know, that's interesting. So Eric gets to a point and he's like, you know, I need a break. I need to get something to drink. So the officers were like, of course. So he goes and gets himself a glass of Kool-Aid and he's drinking it and things, and he's kind of just, you know, hanging out and chilling. And the police were like, okay, it's time to go. We need to finish this up. And so they noticed that Eric, takes the drink and he just kind of chucks it out. And so that was just like, okay, the neighbors and stuff were like, that's interesting, because they had found Derrick with, you know, Kool-Aid spilt on him, just kind of like splattered on him. And so one of the neighbors, she said that she had seen this and that after this murder had happened, she noticed that Eric was coming to her house more and hanging out more. And so she was like, I want to do an experiment. I want to see something. So she, you know, tells the boys, hey, I'm going to go to the store really quick. I'll be back. And she comes back with ice cream and toppings and bananas and nuts and stuff. And she's like, everybody want ice cream? And they were, of course, kids, yes, yes, yes. So she puts all the stuff out and she lets them make whatever it is that they want. And she notices that Eric did not cut up a banana and didn't put a banana in his ice cream. So she was like, hey, Eric, don't you like bananas? And he's like, no, gross. They're gross. So this neighbor ends up calling Derrick's mom, Doreen, and was like, hey, Eric doesn't like bananas. I'm kind of scared. So time goes on. In fact, it was August 8th, so it was like 6 days later. Eric confesses to his mom that he killed little Derrick Roby. And when they asked him what happened, he stated he had gotten in trouble at camp that day. He was angry and he was mad. And he was riding his bike and he seen little Derrick walking there to summer camp. So they went to the same summer camp and he was walking to summer camp, and you know, Eric is steaming mad. And what does his dad tell him to do when he's mad? He tells him to punch things. So he goes over to the field and he lures, little Derrick over to the field. And when he gets him to the field, he takes a stick and he chokes him with it. He then picks up a big rock and drops it on his head. Then he proceeds to take his pants down and his underwear down and sodomize him. If you don't know what sodomizing means, you'll need to go look that up. But he sodomizes him. And then it also stated in some of the articles that he stabbed him in his heart with the stick and waited for it to stop beating to make sure that he was dead. Now, in a different article, it states that that is why he sodomized him, was to make sure that he was dead. That's not usually normal behavior from anybody, but actually killing a young kid isn't either. So it's like, what happened in little Eric's life? So Eric, of course, gets convicted of this murder. He goes into juvie, and then when he turns 18, he goes into big boy jail, big boy prison. And every 3 years, he is able to go to the probation and parole board and ask to be let out. And so far, he has not been let out. But he has wrote letters to Doreen, you know, being like, I'm sorry for what I did. I know it was wrong. He feels that when he gets out of prison, that he wants to work with kids. He wants to work with kids specifically who have anger issues. Now, my question to you is, would you send your kids to go hang out with a convicted murderer? Would you send your kid to go hang out with a person who murdered a little boy when he was a kid? Do you feel like there's redemption? That people can change from something so serious, like murdering somebody, to never doing it again? You know, we're supposed to give people second chances and feel, you know, when they get let out, their crime has been done and it's been paid for, and they come out and they're supposed to have a clean record. But do you trust your children with somebody like this? Do you have forgiveness for somebody who has harmed a little 4-year-old boy? And just because he was angry. You know, the thing with mental illness is, like, there's so many different pieces. You know, they claimed that when mom was pregnant, she was taking an anti-seizure medicine that has side effects that could be like lowered ears, all these different behavioral problems and stuff. Could that have contributed to his problems? You know, I think about this, and this is my turn for my opinion. You know, dad probably should have got him help right away. Bullying is insane. I mean, back then, now, all the time, it's insane. So there's really no getting away from it. I homeschool my kids. I've homeschooled my kids for 10 years. And we don't deal with the bullying until my kids have to go like on social media or something. And then it's like right there constantly in their face. Now, I get bullied all the time on YouTube, on TikTok. I get bullied, and I'm a grown-up, and I will have young kids, young teenagers come on there and be like, say horrible things about me, and they don't know me. It's not okay. But is it enough? Is bullying, being bullied, enough to be like, oh, it's okay that you killed somebody because you were bullied? My opinion is no. No, it is not. Everybody has been bullied in their life at some point. And we didn't like say, oh, okay, you know, we're going to go do something just horrible to somebody. Most people get very depressed, and that's a normal response. But I feel like these anti-bullying campaigns, a lot of them are just a joke. You know, at the high school here where I live, they do this anti-bullying thing, but then kids get bullied and nothing happens. Just sit down and a little finger shake. Maybe if they got a little more serious, like, hey, you bullied somebody, you know, you're however many days out of school, and now you have to go put some good in the world by doing community service or something. I don't know. I'm not the expert on that. But I would love to hear what you guys think about this story. And if you would let your kids, you know, let somebody like this train them about anger and what he learned from having anger. Drop your comments below. Anyways, you guys have a great day. I will miss you until I see you again. Bye, guys. Mwah.